Morning, everybody. Welcome in. This is the morning meeting, and it's an historic day. 1 year ago today, where Donald Trump, reelected president, has been a very eventful 365 days. We'll talk about all that and more. No, forward-looking as always, but lots of celebrating at the White House today on social media, and I've gotten two texts from people reminding me that the president was elected a year ago. So we'll talk about that. As always, we want your participation. If you're here in the platform, please raise your hand if you'd like to be in the conversation. And if you're watching on X or YouTube, a good day to remind you, no smack in the chat, and just peace, love, and understanding for all. Big day book today at the White House. The president's got some events. We'll get through that, and then we'll run through a bunch of topics. Dan, I like your shirt. You've worn that one before,
I
however. Is
have.
that
Yeah,
is that a
absolutely.
favorite? Is that a favorite?
It is a favorite, and conversations like no other
There you go.
on the sleeve. Yes.
There's a discount available to you if you'd like to join, which Sean will tell you about in a moment. But here's some big news. Stay tuned next week, a special Fairway and Green announcement end of next week that you'll be quite interested in if you haven't yet gotten off the fence to buy some products. So stay tuned for that. Sean, tell everybody about the discount.
Well, Mark, normally it's 20% off, but because of this big election, we want everyone to get involved. So we're upping the stakes. It's not 20%, but right now, this week, elections 25 will get you 25% off anything site wide, whether that's two-way, the morning meeting, or any of the fine products. Mark, I'm double layered today. I've got this beautiful polo on, layered with a quarter zip. I was going to do a get ready with me video, fairway and green style, but I'm really not sure how that works. So
We got to do
Also
that.
double layered. No
Yeah.
smack in the
layered,
chat
yeah, with
right
the
there.
I feel
vest.
naked. All right.
Vest. I've got a lot of vests. The fairway and green vest is my most comfortable vest.
By the way,
Election.
Christmas is holidays around the corner.
Yeah.
It is.
It is not too early.
Fairway and Green, tway.tv/fairway. Use the promo code
Elections 25.
elections25. All right, I'm going to run through the day book real quick, and then we'll do one more bit of business, and then we'll get to the conversation. Today, the president greets the prime minister of Hungary. This is a big deal. Ally of the president, not a big fan. He doesn't have a lot of fans in Kyiv. So we'll see. As at this point, the arrival's open, but that doesn't usually yield questions. The lunch is closed press. And we'll see if the president takes any comments during any of that. And then he leaves for Palm Beach late in the day. Don't know what the vice president's doing, although I suspect he'll be at the meeting. Secretary Duffy is doing a live conversation with Breitbart at 10 a.m. Pete Hegseth, 2 o'clock address to the National War College. Still confusion on the Hill. The House remains out. They continue to get paid for doing nothing. Senate is meeting at 12. They're trying to figure out a plan here. Thune's got a plan. The Democrats seem to be rejecting it. There are these bipartisan talks going on, bipartisan, bicameral. 2 Republican House members, Jeff Van Drew and Brian Fitzpatrick of New Jersey and Pennsylvania, respectively, talking to Andy Kim and Lisa Blunt Rochester, Democratic senators, trying to develop a framework for the ACA tax credits, all from contiguous states, if I know my geography: New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania. And Gavin Newsom, who going to International Summit on Climate. Then tomorrow, sort of a victory tour, goes to Texas to do a rally alongside Democratic House members, state House members there.
Here's a question: do the two the two guys in the D Senate primary show up with Gavin?
Yeah,
I bet they both
question.
do.
Yeah, maybe 3. All right, quick message also from Fairway and Green. I mean, for Cozy Earth, rather. You see my Fairway and Green on top. I am wearing my Cozy Earth pants, not pictured here, but I am wearing them. I recommend you go to Cozy Earth. Also a big sale opportunity. They're also available for your holiday shopping needs, 40% off right now. Go to cozyearth.com. Everything on the site, 40% off with the discount code MARK layered on top of the site discount for their early Black Friday sale. You can buy the sheets, the blankets, the towels. My towels are arriving today, I believe. Bubble cuddle blanket, and of course the pants, the shirts, everything else available to you. Black Friday coming early. Again, use the promo code MARK, cozyearth.com. Promo code MARK, 40% off. Wrap the ones you love in luxury with Cozy Earth. And hadn't happened this week until yesterday. Someone stopped me on the street and said, I bought the pants and I love the pants, and my wife loves me in the pants. So give it a try. Could revolutionize your marriage, if nothing else. cozyearth.com for 40% off. Use the promo code MARK. All right. On the shutdown, don't know what's happening. No one knows. But the mood as the week closes is dark. It's still not clear if the Senate's going to stay in over the weekend or not. Last night, the president and the vice president both took questions around their meeting with foreign leaders. And J.D. Vance was tart and sharp. 103, please.
And the last thing that I'll say is the American people are unfortunately about to start suffering some very real consequences because of the shutdown. In the past, when you had a government shutdown, you would have, under the Obama administration, they would lean into all of the problems it was going to cause for the American people at the beginning of the shutdown. The president has told us to keep as much going as humanly possible. But after 30 days of this thing, 40 days of this thing, you're going to start seeing very real travel delays. That's because the Democrat government shut down. You're going to start seeing SNAP benefits run out. That's because the Democrat government shut down. They should stop this charade and open up the government. That's what we want them to do. We've been asking them to do it for 40 days. It's time.
And
Dan, where do you think we go now?
I think the fact that there are so many conversations and I do think this is like the beginning of the end type of scenario where the first step is people start talking. There'll be some fits and starts here, but I think what happened on Tuesday kind of moves the GOP a little bit. I think Democrats know, like, you're not to be greedy here a little bit, meaning like this could swing. If it gets too ugly, they will take some blame. They're riding high right now. I think they're trying to figure out what the best deal is for them to declare victory. But I do think the kind of conversation starting means like the train starting to leave the station towards an end.
Sean, do you agree with that?
I think if the train might be leaving the station, but it's sort of like if you've ever pulled out of like New Haven where they're changing from whatever coal to like, it's going to be that clink, 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 clink. It's not coming out of the station roaring. This is going to be, I mean, I think Dan's phrase fits and starts is probably correct. I do believe that, as you saw, they took down 4% of air traffic at those 40 major airports. Then it goes to 6, then it goes to 10. As this becomes much more real for the American people, and frankly, unfortunately, once lawmakers themselves have to deal with this problem, that will escalate it. But I still think we're ways off. They're not, they might be trying to find something, but these existential issues that we keep talking about, like you saw the contours of a deal talked about and immediately crumbled before it even got close to coming out of the gate. And so I just, no one's talking about anything real. It's like they're talking about a meeting that they're talking about. So I don't see anything in the contours of what's being discussed as anything more than was being discussed 37 days ago. So I think the conversations will heat up. I just don't think they're going to yield anything soon.
I'm more bearish than I've been since it started. Despite Thanksgiving and travel, I wrote my newsletter this morning. All the dynamics are working against the deal, and with the exception of these bicameral bipartisan talks. But with all due respect to Senators Kim and Blunt Rochester, they're not John McCain. They're not Barack Obama. These gangs work when there's people of stature there who can go over the head of the president. In some sense, they just can't. So I'm very
but
bearish.
Beyond that, Mark, there's nobody in there that represents the movement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the problem solvers caucus is not going to carry the day anywhere.
Yeah.
So until it's not even just the McCains, it's somebody that actually the MAGA world would look at and say, they're a legitimate.
That's a good deal.
So do you guys think that Trump then the next 2 weeks wants to focus, just keep squeezing harder and harder and try to turn up the volume of pain?
I don't think it's crazy for the White House to think, as they do, that the most likely outcome is a Democratic cave.
Hold on a second. But so this is why I'm asking the question. Poll after poll shows they're being blamed.
So not by a number so much that scares them. Right.
Well, okay. So if you're going to ratchet pain up, that works in the Obama administration when you're up 10 points on the issue of who's to blame. What's fascinating is they're going to attempt to take it to 11, and yet the public is blaming them.
Well, you know what's funny about the public?
But Mark, you're shaking your head. Show me one poll that doesn't show the best they have is they're down 3 or 4.
Yeah, but it's 3 or 4 is not going to cause them to abandon their position.
But then go inside those numbers.
But yes, okay. So that's Dan. That's the answer. Go inside those numbers.
Tuesday.
Right? hold on. Go inside the numbers. What do they say? They say Republicans and MAGA supporters believe the president and Republicans are doing everything right. So that's that. Democrats believe that what Democrats are doing, and everyone on the far left, so what they're doing. And then in the middle, yes, the folks in the middle are tilting towards the Democratic position right now. But I think it's not that big of a disparity. And at the end of the day, each side is saying my base wants me to fight harder.
Right. Here's the dirty little secret, right? The Democrats are divided. They're united that they'd like to be united, but they're divided about what they're willing to accept to get out of this. The problem, well, no, and I don't think ish. I mean, you've got 3 who would vote to open the government right now.
Well, no, but I mean, the only thing I think they're divided on now is how far to press on undoing the cuts and the firing.
But that's the whole thing.
Right. I mean, but that can be patched over, I think.
Maybe. But the point is, here's why the president it would be dangerous for him to start backing down. Because right now, Republicans are all united. There's one Republican position: open up the government.
Oh, yeah, right.
One Republican. The minute he starts to be in a negotiation, then some Republicans say, no, don't drop off our position. We've got the stronger position. And some would say, oh, good idea. Let's end the shutdown. They can't open the door to having different voices on the side.
But see, I don't think the issue is whether they're open. I think there's not any more conversation about a vote of tying them. Now the issue is, what are you willing to guarantee after we reopen it? And the House Republicans will not guarantee a vote on the ACA.
Correct.
But so I'm reading this a little different, by the way, which is, at least from some of the intel that I got, which is Democrats have gone from a vote to they want a guarantee of a certain magnitude of extending the benefits. So the vote is one thing, but at least some Democrats are saying we want a guarantee.
Some are saying stuff. It's Mike Johnson saying, I'll bring it to the floor. They know it'll pass if it comes to the floor, and Johnson knows it. And they're only going to be 40% of the R's that vote for it.
I don't.
And that's the problem.
I will say this. If it was brought straight up, you might peel off. I'm not entirely sure of that. But also, you know as well as I do, they're not going to bring it up in a form that's palatable. They'll bring it up in, So
it also, of course, depends. It depends on what the it is, you know. But that's the other reason they don't want to open up the conversation to this discussion, because they don't want to have an intra-party debate about healthcare. They just don't, because the moderates have one point of view and it's too complicated. All right. We'll keep watching that. And again, Secretary Duffy speaking at 10, and he's critical here because the number of flights is increasing. Will be more and more flights will be canceled. Again, I have my flight Monday, so it's got to be solved by then. Or I'm taking the Chinatown bus. And Thanksgiving. So we'll see.
And by the way, who is the first candidate it's going to come out and say shut down private jet travel? It's going to happen. Someone's going to say, why is Teterboro and all the private FBOs open?
Maybe I will fly private on Monday. Hadn't thought of that. Just kidding. All right. Here is the cover of the New York Times 1 year ago that Caroline Levitt tweeted out moments ago. Again, other people have already sent this to me. Trump storms back. He defeats Harris and caps his resurgence from outcast to felon to president-elect. And of course, he did that to a large extent on the back of saying Joe Biden could not deal with the affordability issue. Inflation was out of control. Well, the president now has his own affordability issue. New York Post today, extraordinary story, 105, saying big problem, dollars and cents. Trump touts affordability while inflation rages across the U.S. on everything from food to furniture to cars. This story was not edited by Sean M. Spicer because it has a lot of data in there that suggests, yes, inflation is a problem. The president pummeled by 2 brilliant op-ed writers, columnists in the Wall Street Journal, Matthew Continetti, who I believe is his first column for the Journal in his new job, and Kim Strassel, both writing columns saying the Republicans led by the president need a plan on affordability, and they need to do it quickly or they're going to have a horrible midterm. So in order to address affordability, the president of the United States decided to speak out in ways that Dan will find hilarious. He already does because he's seen this. This is the president of the United States auditioning some really focused, powerful lines on affordability. 104, please.
Talk about the cost of Thanksgiving and the cost of living through Thanksgiving and enjoying Thanksgiving. For Joe Biden, it was 25% more than it is for me. At a later time, our energy costs are way down, our groceries are way down, everything is way down, and the press doesn't report it. The press reports whatever the con people say. You know, I call the Democrats con men and women. They make up numbers. But when you look at 25% reduction in costs for Thanksgiving between Biden and me, meaning this administration, that's a tremendous number. It's the biggest reduction in cost in the history of that chart or whatever it is they do. That they do a synopsis of everything. They cover every element of Thanksgiving meals. 25% down. So I don't want to hear about the affordability, because right now we're much less. If you look at energy, we're getting close to $2 a gallon gasoline. With Biden, it was $4.50, $5. Another thing, inflation. We had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Now we have virtually no inflation at all. It's down at a very low number and a very normal number. So the affordability is much better with the Republicans. The only problem is the Republicans don't talk about it. And Republicans should start talking about it and use their heads, because we have great numbers. We have and they're going to only get better when all these jobs open up, all these factories open up that are being built all over our country. I mean, we are building auto plants. We're building AI plants. We're leading in AI over China and everybody else. When all of these plants start opening, we're going to have a revolution, a positive revolution, economic revolution like never before. Thank you very much, everybody.
Dan, you know, I only rarely violate my no two-part question rule, but I will now on the occasion of the president's anniversary of his resounding election. Number one, how intimidating.
One of the closest elections ever.
Yeah,
Let's just
exactly.
Be fair. Yeah,
well, he won all 7 battleground states. How intimidating, how overpowering is that, and focused is that message on the economy? And number two, I'd like you to unleash your inner Daniel Dale and fact check what the president said.
Well, how powerful is that? I joked with you prior to coming on air. I don't know who may run that clip more in ads, Democrats or Republicans. I mean, hat tip to Leland Vitter, who ran a segment the other night, literally playing what Joe Biden said and Donald Trump said, and they are almost carbon copies. Gas is coming down. Biden actually in a press conference said, Thanksgiving's cheaper this year. Trump sounds so tone deaf. He can't bring himself to feel your pain. Instead, he tells you there is no pain and we're winning. Like, it's how he operates. So I think the problem that they have are two things. One, if we just look at the last 2 months, I don't think I've heard big, beautiful bill. I don't think I've heard tax cuts. I don't think I've heard anything on kind of a lot of the substance of your life. I've heard Israel, Ukraine, crime. The Wall Street Journal ran a story in August. We talked about it one show. Trump reportedly said that part of the crime crackdown was he doesn't want to talk about the economy. He's great at shiny red balls. So you can do what he did, and all we have to do is hold up people's lives saying food is more expensive, clothes are more expensive, healthcare is more expensive. Keep telling everyone it's not true.
Do you got any fact check on that, what he said?
What's that? That gas is down? Sure. And you know what? In a week, gas could be up. Does anyone want to bet on
No, but overall, did he say anything you said wasn't true? I mean, for instance, some people say the Thanksgiving thing he's doing is
food. Some walk into your grocery store. Some food things are down. Some are way up. I mean, again, you're telling people they're wrong. That what they're experiencing is wrong. I mean, Sean, every poll has said this for 5 months. Yep. Focus group said
so. Let's. I know, Mark. You did a very good Daniel Dale, which is not actually look at I'm not gonna.
So you're gonna tell people that what they're
no. Here's what I'll tell you. I'll tell you the facts. So right now, Walmart put out the cost of their annual Thanksgiving meal. It's $41.92. That's down 25% from last year. That's a fact.
But it's substituted generic Walmart products for brand names.
They're just by the way, can we? All right, because I want to mention
good, but it's not the same.
If you have not listened to the McDonald's earnings call the other day, go listen to the CEO talk about the 15% decline in working class customers who in their focus group said, and I'm going to quote, the cost of clothing, rent, healthcare, childcare is too much for them.
Okay,
so they are not buying
McDonald's. But what besides that? Sean, your comparison, I just got to get this line and then it's floor yours. It's like your comparison's like a turkey to a McTuckin. Like They're not the same. They changed the whole basket.
So here's what I would say. It is factual that most prices, gas, eggs, bread, have gone down. That is a fact. Okay. Here's the deal. I believe where the Trump administration is missing the mark is that if you think about when Trump left office, and I'm just making this up, things were $3. They went to $5 under Biden. Biden said, don't believe it. It's transitory, whatever. That's different. What's happened in a lot of cases is prices have gone down to say 4, where the Trump administration, I think, needs to do a better job is sort of inserting the comma. We're doing better. We need to do more. We know that we're working hard to get you back to where you were, right? The bottom line is in Trump's mind, and I get what he's doing. He's looking at the price of gas, et cetera, and it's going down. But it's not where it was when he left office. And I think that's where the comma comes in, which is he has to say, guys, things are going in the right direction. To your point, Dan, I know it's not where we need to be finally. I'm going to continue to fight for you, right? They've got to acknowledge that they're halfway there. Yes, you're doing a good job, but the guy who's losing weight and says, I need to lose 50 pounds. When you lose 10, you don't go, well, you know, I'm there. You go, hey, I've done a great job. I'm making progress to my goal. And the Trump administration needs to say, we're making progress. We've done a lot in the 9 months that we've been in office. There's more to do. Things like beef, we get it. But he tackled the egg issue. He tackled gas. I mean, there's things he's doing, and they just need to acknowledge that the job isn't done.
And they need to acknowledge that people are suffering, because what you just said is what Biden couldn't bring himself to do.
Right.
Biden could not say, Biden's view was, we passed all this stuff. It's coming down as obvious. I am not going to sit there and say there's more to do. And I agree with you.
There's a couple things. And we saw, I mentioned this yesterday at the meeting. And then I know that yesterday, I'll admit that I didn't see part 2 of the drug press conference after the dude passed out. So I don't know that it came up in the second part when they reconvened it. But they're missing the comma, which is, it's not just about healthcare. It's about, this is a major, if you're on GLP-1s and you're spending $1,000 to $1,500 and they get them down to $149, that's real savings in your life, $800 plus a month, right? They should be talking about the why. It's not just that they're doing it to expand healthcare. It's whatever it is. Okay. So get rid of drugs. Talk about when you're in Japan and Mr. Toyota tells you he's going to invest whatever it was, $4 billion. Then the comma comes in, because I want to expand jobs in America. I want more investment in America, and that's going to help American families grow and prosper and da-da-da-da. They're missing the comma, right? And that's the problem, is why are you doing it? You're doing it because Americans are struggling, and you get it, and you want them to have more money in their pocket, et cetera.
Yeah. All right. Ukraine, for the whole year, I've just been struck by how we whipsaw from one story to another. A few weeks ago, we were just talking about whether the president was going to meet with Putin. We're talking about Patriot missiles, not Patriot, Tomahawk missiles.
Tomahawks, yeah.
We were talking about, a resolution in the Senate, talking about sanctions. The president did put more sanctions on Russia, but otherwise the story has been invisible. The Wall Street Journal reports this morning, Russia's army is on the verge of its biggest Ukrainian conquest in more than 2 years. But the potential prize, a devastated city strewn with corpses, points to what could be a more important battle than the one for territory. Which side will bleed out of military resources first? Sean, where is Ukraine on the national and international conversation? What's happening besides Russia taking this city?
I mean, I think in typical U.S. fashion, we've moved on to the next story. The stream of European leaders kept it front of mind. And once they stopped coming, we stopped hearing about it. So, this is the problem with so many issues in our country, where we have the attention span of a 7-year-old for 5 minutes and then we move on. So until something substantial happens, newsworthy, or more leaders come to keep it front of mind, it's going to go into the back burner for a bit.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, it appears that most of the work is being done by the kind of Rubio, Witkoff, Bessent. They were in Israel, then they were in Asia. Now it's like there's only so many hours in the day. And when you don't have these teams of, people deputized to kind of really be able to do it. Look, I think the bottom line with Ukraine now is winter's about to set in. So the fighting will kind of slow down. And the question is, when the spring comes, is Ukraine armed? It's the old sun's out, guns out. Like, yeah. What are we doing?
Okay. Before we go to Mamdani, I want to just go back to the shutdown for a second and read it from an email I just got and get your judgment. This is random. This is from a member of the two-way community. This is random, but I have a friend who canceled his New York City trip due to the shutdown. He has tickets to Chess and O'Mary for Tuesday and Wednesday. Do you guys know who Chess and O'Mary is? Am I hopelessly
Is it a Broadway play?
out of touch? I know. Oh, I see what it is. Chess the play. Okay. I thought it was a band. Now I get it. Okay. I don't know what O'Mary is, but I know what chess is. All right. Never mind. Thank you for clearing that up. Mamdani, Peggy Noonan, column today. I'll just say on Peggy's behalf, I think she's being more generous and hopeful about Mamdani than she actually feels. But she has a column that's pretty hard on him and says he's a radical and he showed his true colors on election night. I still think the election night speech was undercovered. And what Peggy says to do, according to the headline, is take Mamdani seriously and literally. Here's someone who's taking him both seriously and literally. The newly minted Republican candidate for governor of New York, Elise Stefanik, whose announcement video makes clear that while she's running against Democratic incumbent Kathy Hochul, she also plans to make the mayor-elect of New York City her de facto running mate. Here is the video. 109, please.
Governor in America.
Kathy Hochul made New York the most unaffordable state in the nation, crushing families with sky-high taxes, unaffordable rent, soaring energy costs, and record-high grocery bills. And cozied up to a defund the police, tax-hiking, anti-Semitic communist.
We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
I can hear you.
But from the ashes of Kathy Hochul's failed policies.
Finally, who is doing their best to knit the party together, who has the vision and the courage to stand up to the plutocrats and the left wing. Barack Obama making a surprise appearance at a live event by his friends and the former staffers in the Pod Save America firmament. Here is the former president weaving a narrative that the Big Ten can contain moderate, like their Republican, Democratic governors elect in Virginia and New Jersey, but also the man that Kathy Hochul's opponent calls a communist, Barack Obama, ladies and gentlemen, last night in D.C., 110.
Again, Tuesday was nice, but we've got a lot of work to do. Your task is going to be not to impose, litmus tests. We had Abigail Spanberger win, and we had Zohran Mamdani win, and they are all part of a vision for the future. Our job is to say that we want everybody engaged, and we want to have a conversation about how to make sure that every person in this country is treated with dignity and respect and their ladders of opportunity, and that there's the possibility of community, and that we're getting along, not in some cliche, phonied way, but in a genuine, deep way where we recognize, yeah, we have differences, and yes, there are fights that are going to have to be fought, but that deep down, there is something core in us that we have in common that is extraordinary, and that America at its best leans in to this notion of e pluribus unum, that out of many can come one. That's the conversation that you need to have. That's the conversation that these guys are all about. I love them. I love you.
All right. Before we talk about Mamdani and everything we just saw, just to own up to my embarrassment, because once you have a kid and start a company, you stop paying attention to Broadway. I'm told that Oh Mary is the most talked about theater experience of the last 5 years. And Sean, you think this will appeal greatly to you. It's a show about a cult hit about Mary Todd Lincoln, played by a writer, a man who identifies as they, them. That sounds like a dream night for you.
No wonder I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. Anyway, my apologies. And I might accept tickets for both. Dan, if you were Kathy Hochul's campaign manager, how would you feel about that message framing, both on her record, but then also elevating Mamdani, who still hasn't endorsed her, even though she endorsed him?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the Hochul's challenge here is right now she is taking it from the right and the left within the Democratic Party. So moderates are frustrated that she endorsed Mamdani. The Mamdani base crowd doesn't really see her endorsement as authentic and genuine. So you are caught in no man's land. So the strategic question for Hochul is, do you lean into being a check on Mamdani? Say, we're not going to raise taxes. He's going to have to, find money within their budget. So you're boxing out to say, okay, these attacks that I am Mamdani light or an ally, I'm going to try to not let them stick. Or you say, I'm going all in with this guy because I need a jazzed up base. I want him on my team. And I hope that independents are so turned off by Trump in 2026 that they hold their nose and come back to vote for me and I can paint Stefanik. As a New York City resident who doesn't want to see taxes raised and doesn't want to see police messing with the police, I hope she goes in with the middle, but I do fear that she may make this kind of devil's choice to go in with Mamdani and potentially greenlight some of his initiatives for which he needs her and the legislature to approve.
Sean, same question to you about Barack Obama that I asked Dan about.
Sorry, I didn't answer Obama. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's Sean. Same question to you about Obama that I asked Dan about Trump, which is that message about the party being a big tent and everybody should fight together and not be litmus testy. Is that compelling and formidable?
I mean, I think he has to say it because he's sort of still kind of the figurehead of the Democratic Party. To Dan's point, I don't think anyone cares, right? I mean, on either end, so Donald Trump can tell everyone, go, he does it with his endorsements. They're totally got my support. And there's certain people you believe it for, and there's certain people you don't. And I agree with Dan's assessment of Hochul. I mean, that's the problem. Obama can say, hey, we need to go fight for everybody and da-da-da-da. I don't think people believe that, Hochul actually endorsed Mamdani because she wanted to or believed it. I think it was like a hostage video. She can't even pronounce his name. So I don't think she actually wanted to do it. I think her advisors told her she had to do it. And I think the idea that, none of them, to your question to Dan, are waking up going, oh my gosh, Elise Stefanik's using this in an ad. We didn't see that coming. They knew when they endorsed Mamdani that would be a consequence. But I think that they calculated that it was better to do that and potentially have them support her, hopefully, than not.
I think, though, Mark, the Obama thing is powerful because it is similar to what AOC said on election night. What you're beginning to hear from Democrats is Spanberger was the best candidate in Virginia. Mamdani, won in New York City. We are a big tent party. And we're going to have all these primaries now where you're going to have, some will be won by the progressive and some by the moderate. As long as the party says we're going to have this argument and family fight, but we're all on the same team and we're welcoming of everyone. If Obama plays that statesman role and AOC and Bernie Sanders play that on the other side, I'm ecstatic because it's like the Tucker Carlson stuff on the right. Okay. Big tents have messy fights. As long as you say we're all welcome somehow, then you're good. When you say get out, RFK, you got a problem.
So what I said, what the Trump team was missing with their comma, what I think Obama missed, where his comma was missing was, this is an expansion of what Dan said. You can only do your things.
Sorry, hold on. Just for a second. Bring up CNN for Duffy Live while Sean keeps talking. Go ahead.
So the point is that what he needs to explain to his team, to everybody more on the left is, we only can do these things that we want to do if we actually win races and we're in control. And so if you believe in the things that I'm talking about, equality and blah, 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 then we must win. Not winning doesn't allow us to sit at the table. And I think that's where Democrats need to hear that conversation that we heard in 2004 with George Bush, which is, hey, guys, you can only do the conservative things if you win. And therefore, I want us back in power.
All right, let's listen a little bit to Secretary Duffy at Reagan talking about the shutdown.
Pressure. And again, hopefully what we're going to do today is going to make sure the airspace is safer than it was as we go through this shutdown. And so my last message is I'm going to go talk to passengers. My message is enough. You've inflicted enough pain on the American people. What I hope those who vote to keep the government shut down will come to an airport and they should introduce themselves to the travelers and ask them if it's worth it. Is their delay worth it? Is their cancellation worth it? And I think the resounding answer to that will be no. And so open it up and go through the process that our founders set up for us. which is debates and votes. With that, thank you all. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Okay.
By the way, one interesting note: if they pull, I don't know, it's too late probably to pull up the quad, but I got Fox on in the corner. There is a bit of irony that CNN took that and not Fox.
Yes, Fox is doing. Bill Hemmer's talking about a trans locker room debate instead of that.
2025, not 2024. What are you doing?
Yeah. All right, you can take that down. You can take it down. A couple more topics then to your question. So please, if you're here on the platform, want to be in on the conversation, raise your hand. Mamdani, by the way, there's an annual event like 3 or 4 days in Puerto Rico. That Democrat elected officials, lobbyists, union members go to.
It's a boondoggles.
It's a boondoggles. They have meetings, but it's just an excuse to get drunk in
Puerto Rico,
in Puerto Rico and drink rum. And he's there, according to Politico. He dazzled Democratic insiders. It's an establishment insider event. Now, Labor's there, but it's an establishment event. It's interesting. He's choosing to spend time there. And the Politico stories are worth a read because he's being treated very respectfully and like a big rock star there. And interesting that he's choosing to do it. And obviously, I'm sure he's getting some R&R because he's got.
But I will say, Mark, looking at social media, friends of mine who are operatives who are down there, he's out and about. He's socializing with people. Yeah. He's working the inside crowd.
Yeah. Politico said he was skipping the drinking. He wasn't going to like the bars at night, but working hard. All right.
I do think. Don't you think it's a little odd? I mean, I don't know enough about this event, Dan, but from your side, but like you're really. You're 24 hours.
Has to go.
It happens right after the election every year. If you're in New York politics,
wait, it's a New York thing.
It's a New York.
It's a New York. It's every New York city and state. It's the whole state. Every Democrat,
I thought it was like a Dem confab.
This has been going on forever. How they've gotten away.
Yeah, I don't know how they get away with it. It's crazy. They don't get away with it because the reporters love it too, because they say their bosses, I got to go cover it. I can't think. I'm sure other states have this, but I don't know of another state. I can't name another one that has it. And the fact that they do it in Puerto Rico, it's just so ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, whatever. Anyway,
Puerto Ricans vote too.
Lots going on in 2028. Politico has a story that says that Rubio sources say what I've reported previously, that Rubio's deferential. He's not going to run against J.D. Vance. And those who think Trump is going to end up preferring Rubio are unlikely to be correct. And that they joke a lot about running together as a ticket, but it's not a joke. And then there's a big poll in Politico about open-ended question, who do you support for president? They make a big deal about Vance getting only, I think it's like 30% or something, but Trump gets 25. And obviously once people who say Trump realize they can't vote for Trump, a lot of that will go to Vance. So and then we mentioned Gavin Newsom is in Texas tomorrow, trying to keep his momentum going.
And Kamala Harris leads the D poll, by the way,
exactly,
by a lot.
Exactly, by a lot. I had a great conversation on Next Up with Doug Sosnick and Kristen Davison, and the interesting thing out of that was Kristen is one of many Republicans I've talked to who are much more worried about Gavin Newsom than they were at the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, they thought he was a joke. Bring him on. Great if he's the nominee. She now says, and I've heard this from others, that he's very formidable. And Doug's no fan of AOC for the party, but they both thought AOC was quite formidable as well. And they both picked as their third most likely Democratic nominee, besides Newsom and AOC, Governor Shapiro. So, Dan, how does that top three list differ from yours in terms of most likely, not best nominees, but most likely?
So wait, who's two?
It's Newsom, AOC,
Newsom
Shapiro.
and AOC in the kind of top, and then Shapiro,
they both agreed those were the three most likely. I'm just wondering, would that be your list, or would you sub one or two out?
I would sub out Shapiro and put him in a bucket of what I'm calling the show not tell caucus, which is they're going to attempt to kind of say, to take to the electorate, here's what I've done in my state to show I get stuff done and I can work with the other side. AOC and Newsom are in the other camp of whose blowtorch and kind of attention economy can be the greatest, and they'll be rewarded for that. So I think that's right, but I would put in, Rahm Emanuel, I think is kind of trying to bridge the two. It's fluid because I go back to moderates had a great night on Tuesday night. Like all the attention's on Mamdani because Republicans wanted on Mamdani. But if real world's not on X, moderates had a great night within the Democratic
But wouldn't that argue for Shapiro?
Sure, but it also brings open a whole bunch of other people that are kind of lurking around out there. We have to see how Shapiro is when he struggled when Oppo came at him once before. I am impressed though that he's out like he is right now. MSNBC.
So just to button it up, is he your third in the top three or no?
No, he's in the second tier with the.
So is someone else in the top three?
Just AOC and Newsom right now.
Okay, not in the spirit of the question, but I'll accept your answer. Sean, who's your top thrhree?
I was writing this. I think Newsom unequivocally. I'm going to throw Whitmer in there. And then I said this before, and I'm still stuck on three. I feel like there's as I used the phrase before, I'll use it again. I think there's a car crash at three. I think somebody's going to break out, and I'm actually, and just I feel embarrassed to say this, but I feel like this whole theory that maybe Cheryl. I think Mikey Sherrill more than Abigail Spanberger could be like somebody wanting to take a ride on that and saying, you know what, she pulled out a bigger win than we thought of. She deflected issues well. I don't know. I want to keep a space open for three.
Okay.
Mark, are those your three too? Are those your?
The problem with AOC to me is we've talked about this before. She gets the message. She gets the audience. I just don't see the infrastructure.
Oh, she's going to have hello, Bernie Sanders and Mamdani. She'll have a volunteer army like you have not. She will have more volunteers to start than anybody else. Now, the question is, once as Mark says, when she has to start having uncomfortable conversations and microphones shoved in her face on the trail and stuff, how does she do? But that's why, how can you not put her there? Because she's going to have the infrastructure, the money, and the energy to start. And Newsom actually now is going to be pretty close, I think, as well.
Yeah. My top three are Newsom, Shapiro, and Michael Bennett.
All right. You are big on Bennett.
I am.
Okay.
Raise your hand if you want in the conversation. Here we go.
Wait,
Sean.
Dan, what about Eurobus? What's it? Colorado?
Aaron? He wants to.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not on that team, but
we love everybody.
All right, Sean, winner of the week.
My winner of the week is Bruce Blakeman. He's the Nassau County executive. So just outside New York City, Nassau County, as you guys know more than I do, was went Democrat over and over again. It went Republican for Trump and for Blakeman, and he held on to it by an even greater margin. So to me, that was the bright light that we as Republicans can point to. And I only say because it really was swingy, and then he grew his margin. I think that is good news for whether it's, he's potentially running for governor. The rumors are, I don't know if Elise's announcement matters enough to him or not. But he showed what it takes to win in a swing area, and he embraced Trump fully. So that also, I think, for those Long Island seats, Nicola Lota, and those actually probably give a lot of the NRCC, makes them feel really good.
Dan, winner of the week.
My winner of the week is a woman that I love, in addition to my wife, Nancy Pelosi. She announced her retirement. She is a historic figure. I think if you're a Democrat, what she did on AIDS and gay rights and healthcare and climate change is amazing. If you don't like her politics, you have to respect that her ability to wield power, to get stuff done, to enforce discipline in the Democratic Party. Think about John Boehner, Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy, all the Republican speakers that could not last more than a few years and just struggled. And that woman got stuff done with a kind of velvet hammer. So Nancy Pelosi, take a bow.
I got to say, I don't know where I'm going to get my stock picks now. This is going to be a huge disappointment.
Well, she'll probably stay in the market.
Yeah, but they won't be public anymore, so I won't know what to do.
You can invest with Paul Pelosi.
Exactly. My winner of the week is people who raise money for Democrats, from the fancy consulting firms who sign on to do individual candidates to the grassroots folks. Raising money for Democrats between now and the midterms now, after what happened Tuesday, is significantly easier. And they're no longer pushing on closed doors, whether it's Park Avenue or TikTok or wherever it is they're trying to raise money. Sean, loser of the week.
My loser of the week is Virginians. 51% of us just voted, not me, 51% of people here in the Commonwealth just voted for a guy who clearly should not be the top law enforcement officer in the Commonwealth. And I think it's a sad state of being that when someone can say something as egregious and offensive and wrong as Jay Jones did, and still 51% of folks in Virginia want him to be Attorney General, That's a sad state of being. I will say one interesting point. They're reviewing the Commonwealth attorney in the county where he got caught going 116 miles an hour and then doing his community service at his own political action committee is reviewing that case. If Jay Jones actually is found in violation and his law license is rebuked, then the Commonwealth law states that he cannot serve as Attorney General. So this could be an interesting dynamic that's coming up.
Could be the best thing for Democrats ever. They could replace him with somebody else.
Dan.
My loser of the week is Donald Trump. I know some people have tried to say that this had nothing to do with him, but he had been on a roll this year. He was, as vaunted and feared, even kind of within the Democratic Party, that was demoralized about how to confront him.
Dan, sorry to interrupt you again. Just get Fox up. Thune's talking live. Go ahead, Dan.
Sure. I mean, look, Trump may get the mojo back, by the end of today, but at least going into this weekend, he's taken a hit, and Democrats have a wind at their back.
All right, can we listen a bit of Thune?
We have a proposal that they have been reviewing and looking at now for several days, mostly with things that they asked for, including a normal appropriations process. We open up the government. They get a vote on their Obamacare fix. They want to sit down, meet with the president on a path forward. He's more than willing to do that. All those things are in play, but they can't take yes for an answer for fear. I mean, these people are scared spitless of their base, and that's what's happening. Yesterday was a bullying session. The far left—
Is that a South Dakota expression, scared spitless?
The reasonable ones out of coming to the table and settling this. I'm still hoping that these people are going to come to the table, and we'll find out soon enough.
How do you plan to do that? I think that's what's interesting is that Democrats following the elections on Tuesday, as Chris Murphy is just explaining there, again, they feel emboldened. They want to dig in their heels. Do you need President Trump to weigh in more here, and how would you like him to do that?
Well, President Trump is more than willing to weigh in and to talk to the Democrats about path forward on how to fix the unaffordability and unsustainability problems of Obamacare, a problem the Democrats created. The president's more than willing to help them fix that, but not while the government is being held hostage. All the president's saying is, open up the government.
All right,
and let's sit down and talk
we're running out of
forward.
time, so we'll keep following that. Dan, did you finish up, or did you want to say more?
Yeah. No, that's it.
Okay, we'll go quick here and get to your questions quickly. Loser of the week is California Republican.
Sorry, who's your loser? Sorry.
California Republican Party. Just ridiculous how long they've been in the wilderness, with the exception of Schwarzenegger. And after what happened on Tuesday, it's just hard for me to imagine how they're going to recruit people to run in that state right now. Sean, what to look for this weekend?
Patriots are playing down in Tampa Bay. I mean, yeah, they're playing the Bucs, and I just think it's going to be a great game. That's what I'm looking for.
Dan.
I am looking to see if Chuck Schumer and Zohran Mamdani may meet. They spoke on the phone. Schumer's got to start getting ready for his own stuff. Do those two meet?
I vote for Junior's cheesecake. Nothing more unifying. I'm looking to see if the Senate works over the weekend or not, whether they give up.
Oh, yeah. Well,
work. All right.
What do you think? Let's quick bet. Yes or no?
Yes.
All right.
Who has a fundraising trip this weekend?
I think they will. All right. Let's bring in folks again. Raise your hand if you're on the platform. You have a question. Try to keep them short just because we're getting to you all late. Brian from the farm in Rhode Island, welcome in. Thank you for joining. What's on your mind, my friend?
Not too much. Good to talk to you guys. It's awesome that, the two ways of podcast format now as well. It's been great for me during the busy farm season, but just wanted to check in and thank the community. We're having our next big event for the MS community locally on Sunday. And I just wanted to, check in and say thanks, let everyone know the farm's going great. It's grown faster than I could have ever imagined with the help of this community. There's a lot of people here, that were here a year ago when we started this project. And it's just been an amazing year. We have 7,000 square feet of additions of new gardens going in next year. And I just wanted to come on and say thanks to the community.
Awesome. Brian, thank you. If people want to support the farm, remind them where they can go.
On GoFundMe, if you search Chapin Road Farm, you can find our first little small fundraiser. Our 501c3 filing is waiting for the government to open back up again to go through. Okay. But we are a nonprofit in Massachusetts, and any donations can be tax deductible retroactively. I found out. So
great, Brian. Thank you. Great to see you. Appreciate it.
Love you guys.
Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, man.
All right, here we go. Barbara, welcome in. Tell folks who don't know where you are what's on your mind.
Good morning. I'm in very red county of Tazewell County in downstate Illinois. And sorry to talk about Tucker again, but when the Tucker story broke this week, you asked Sean why was MAGA upset or how would it affect MAGA? And he said he only thought it'd be a little bit of MAGA. And I would like to know from him, because I don't know, what the percentage of evangelicals comprise MAGA, because I don't think they can afford to lose them. And there was something Tucker said, he despised Christian Zionists. Now, that's not a term. I'm in an evangelical church. That's not a term that you hear in an evangelical church, but you do hear this: dispensational premillennialism. And I really think you ought to look it up. The guy that ended your show yesterday kind of was referring to it, but
say it again, please, Barbara. Dispensational
premillennialism, and it's a view of the time before Jesus returns to earth. There will be dispensations. I don't subscribe to it myself, but I am in an evangelical church, and almost all, Southern Baptist, huge denomination, premillennial dispensationalism. And our Israeli ambassador Huckabee believes in dispensational premillennialism. I believe Hegseth, I've heard him speak dispensational premillennialism, and I believe that's why Ted Cruz quoted that scripture out of Genesis to Tucker Carlson. We can't afford to have this split in MAGA. Listen to Eric Metaxas is talking somewhat about this, or Kirby Anderson down in Texas. I would talk to him, but it's an important thing for you, people that might be of a Christian denomination but not familiar with this evangelical viewpoint, that this could split a lot of the MAGA, frustrate them greatly.
Barbara, thank you for that. We'll let Sean respond. Eric Metaxas is a genius, by the way. Those of you who aren't familiar with him, I recommend him. Sean.
I wrote it down. I'll look into it. I thank you for flagging this.
Okay, Barbara, thank you. Grateful to you. How'd you find Two Way?
Oh, I found you before the election, and I've been a fan of yours for decades, Mark.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I like the gusto of that. I like that.
Yes. Nicholas, welcome in. Tell folks who don't know where you are what's on your mind for Sean and for Dan.
I am in upstate New York, but I was born and raised in Staten Island. And so I voted for the new mayor. So it's a good day for progressives. I did come on this platform about a year ago before I wore my shirt. And thank you, Dan. So I'm very happy today, more so than the last election. I did have a question for you, Dan, because Mayor-elect Mamdani actually got 10% of Trump 2024 voters. When Kamala lost, 10% of Trump 2024 voters.
Trump 2024 voters. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
When Kamala lost, it was this big thing in the Democratic Party. We need to win young men back. Zohran won young men by 40 points, right? So do you think, instead of the lesson coming out for Democrats, do you think Republicans will be successful in villainizing him in the way they want to? They tried with AOC. They tried with other far-left politicians. And I don't think Zohran will be as easy to vilify as Republicans may think.
Yeah, great question, Nicholas. Sean, Dan, rather. Dan.
Yeah, a terrific question. Look, I think Mamdani is going to now start trying to enact his agenda. And I think the question is he successful and does it work? If he is struggling, if the governor is blocking him, if he moves around police assets and crime starts to spike again, then it's going to be a problem for the party, right? It will be seen as a failed experiment. If he makes changes and things are still running okay, then I think the Democratic Party is going to say, candidates will say, I'm running my race, I'm a Spanberger Democrat, or I'm a, Shapiro Democrat, or I'm a Newsom Democrat. Like Bernie Sanders is a socialist and he's been around, for 10 years, he's been prominent. So, I mean, they've tried it with Pelosi. They've tried it with Hillary. I don't know if they'll be successful.
Look, I think that, as I said before, it's always been this existential idea. Bernie Sanders, AOC, like you're in a legislative body. No one gets their way, even like the speaker. So this is going to be different because he's going to be an executive. And either he gets it done and it falls on its face, or he has to make excuses why he doesn't get it done. In either way, like there is no way I can possibly see any of what he's talking about being successful. Like it's just, it doesn't work financially and otherwise. And therefore, I do believe that as Elise did in that ad, we are going to make it very clear that everybody on the left has to answer for this guy and his policies, because it's not going to be abstract anymore. It's going to be very, very real. And we're going to see the consequences of his actions in New York City and be able to point to them.
Nicholas, thank you. All right, Sean, what do you have tonight?
Well, we talked a little bit about anti-Semitism. There's a new column out in the Free Press by Victor Davis Hanson. I'm going to talk to him tonight on the show and actually really get into it, because if you read the column that he put out, he has some strong beliefs on where MAGA is in particular on Victor Davis on anti-Semitism. I think we're probably going to get into the whole Tucker Carlson thing. And you mentioned Eric, but I think Victor is one of the greatest thinkers on the right. So I'm looking forward to that.
Smart guy. Two ways left today. Random offense with Ethan at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Ryan Glass-Spiegel of Front Office Sports comes back. Two-way tonight is on 5 o'clock live on the two-way platform. 5 o'clock tonight Eastern time. Amongst my guests, Larry Sanger, the co-founder of Wikipedia. I have some bones to pick with him. Now we'll talk about the news and Wikipedia. Join us at 5 o'clock. It'll stream on YouTube at the regular time. And then, of course, we'll be back Monday, but in a different manner, perhaps. Announcement. Everybody listen up. Sean and Dan, over to you.
Well, so thank you, Mark. With kind of Sean and I and two-way have mutually agreed to part ways here. And we're going to do it in 2 weeks. We're going to continue to be a part of the show and help in the transition. And I just want to, take this opportunity to thank Mark. I mean, I have immense gratitude to you from agreeing to meet with me when I emailed you out of the blue. You didn't know me, to get coffee, to pick your brain, to obviously, inviting me to join you on here. You've been a mentor to me kind of on air and off on the business side. And so, Mark, I just could not be more grateful to you and thank you. I want to thank the whole two-way team. Some people have heard, you hear voices throughout the show, but they're all amazing. I want to thank all the advertising partners who took a risk and bet on two-way, obviously the investors in the platform. But most importantly, I want to thank this community. It's just been a privilege to be able to listen to you, to learn from you about your life, your communities, your families. So just thank you all. And again, Mark, thank you for everything and the opportunity that you've given me, and look forward to running through the tape for you and for two-way in the community the next 2 weeks.
Sean.
Yeah, I agree with Dan. We're going to have a great 2 weeks, and then, but appreciate all the support that everybody's given, and look forward to keeping it up.
We'll have more to say about the future of this program, which will continue. I will be here. Others will be here. And of course, we'll talk more about the great achievements and contributions Dan and Sean have made over the last year plus to building this program. But again, as Dan said, more to building the community. Couldn't be more grateful to you both for being part of it. Doing a daily show at 9 a.m. Eastern time is a big commitment, and so grateful to what's been built. And as testament to that, you saw some of it today, that people like Brian, who's been here and done this extraordinary thing to start a farm, and this community rallying around him and helping him. And we saw just last week when people stepped up for food banks because of the shutdown. Again, not a normal show in that respect in terms of the community, but also in terms of the conversations we have. No smack in the chat. Peace, love, and understanding are real, and you both built this with us to make it a reality. And I'll join in, take the opportunity to thank the folks who produce this show every day and do such a good job to make it hum. And again, thank all of you. We will indeed be back Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time, 10 more shows for the three of us, and we look forward to seeing you then. And as I said, we'll have more to say about Sean and Dan and their extraordinary contributions as we close out the following week. I'll see you at 6 o'clock tonight. Thank you all. Have a great day, and we'll see you Monday morning.
Thanks, guys.